My father, Colin Patience, had a vague recollection of a man who seemed more like a character in a novel than a relative, his uncle Alex. Dad was born in 1920, 14 years after William Alexander Tate left Australia. Yet Dad grew up in the shadow of his uncle Alex's departure. He remembered the day in 1935 when a letter arrived from America, devastating my grandmother Henrietta. Her brother was dead. Who was he? Was he a missionary? Did he really have a secret family in Chicago? The family papers held no clues. To find the truth, I had to stop being a great niece and start being a detective. To find someone who vanished overseas, you first have to prove they existed at home. This is where my journey with the Genealogical Society of Victoria began. I needed to bridge the gap between family law and hard evidence. Through Victorian electoral rolls, I found him. 1905, 34 Capel Street, West Melbourne. He wasn't a scholar yet. He was a clicker, a highly skilled worker in the footwear trade. I discovered a world of struggle, a father who couldn't hold a job, and a powerhouse mother, Sarah Jane, who ran a boarding house to keep the family fed. But the records hinted at something else. Alex was a Congregationalist. In that church, his intelligence was spotted. At age 23, he traded his leather tools for a ticket on the Orotava 2. He was heading for London. And then, the unknown. Researching the start of a life is easy. Researching the middle is where most people hit a brick wall. I had no idea when he actually entered America until I hit the jackpot at the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island Foundation. There he was, October 1906. He arrived with a suitcase and a dream. Because of these records, I could finally track the transformation. In just 10 years, the clicker from Collingwood became Dr. William Alexander Tate. He graduated from Hiram College, then earned his Bachelor of Divinity and his PhD from Yale in 1916. He wasn't just a migrant, he was transformed. A few years later, in 1920, Alex, with his wife Flora, went to live in Lahaina, Maui, Hawaii. Alex had been appointed a missionary there by the Congregational Church. Lahaina was a community shaped by wave after wave of newcomers, plantation workers from across Asia and the Pacific, all building new lives on the islands. It was among these people that Alex found his congregation. He served nearly 3 years there, preaching, ministering, and putting down the deepest roots he had yet known. It was in Lahaina that his only child, Charles, was born in April 1920. By late 1922, the appointment had concluded, and the family sailed back to the mainland. But research often reveals things the family never knew. My search led me to Chicago, where Alex spent his final years. I found a man who was a brilliant orator, an acute observer of the Great Depression, and a man with secrets. He had divorced his first wife, Flora, and in 1932 he married Marion, a woman 21 years his junior. He kept this marriage a secret from his family in Melbourne. It wasn't until his sudden death in 1935 that the truth came out. Marion wrote to my grandmother, introducing herself as his widow. She sent his sermons, his travel diaries, and the story of a man who was deeply loved by his community in Argo, Illinois. It took years of sleuthing, from the archives of the GSV in Melbourne to the passenger manifests of Ellis Island. Dad never got to Chicago, but through this research, I brought his Uncle Alex home. We found a man who proved that you can start in a shoe factory in Collingwood and end up in the halls of Yale if you have the faith to make the leap. If you're looking for your own missing history, don't give up. The evidence is out there, waiting to be found.